Ryan Vlasic, Coldwell Banker, Siesta Key. Welcome back to the channel.
Great to be here.
Yeah, so we are going to talk a little bit about migration. I want to hear your thoughts on this guy. What I love about Ryan is he's really honest and forthright, and like me, will say it like it is and tell you what you need to hear, not what you always want to hear. So I'm looking forward to interviewing Ryan in today's video. So please stay tuned. Ryan Vlasic, what you got? Let's talk about something other than price.
What else is there to talk about other than price? Because it all boils down to price at the end, right?
It does. But one thing that I've had some conversations with people about recently, and probably you too, like sellers are under the impression that our buyers are coming from New York and Pennsylvania. And what I'm seeing, and you could tell me what you're seeing, is like a lot of interior migration within Florida. Tell me what you're seeing.
There could be some of that interior migration that you talk. Well, most of our migration is from the Midwest. It's more from the Northeast on the eastern side of Florida, and it's more from the Midwest on our side of Florida, which is the best side of Florida.
That's right.
We do get some interior migration from people that want to be closer to the beach, but the main point about migration to Florida is it's down significantly. It's down 93% from the peak, which is 2022. And that's reflected on the prices because we don't have that influx. We have to rely more on the local economy in order to support the home prices. And that hasn't been happening as of recent.
And it's tough conversations, especially with sellers, like, why isn't my house sold? And the two biggest issues we've had in the last few years since the peak of post-COVID times is affordability and the sheer lack of buyers. And I guess what brought us together to do this video is because we're on, each other's social media. And like I said, Ryan is a truth teller. It's like telling you guys what you really need to hear if you're going to enter the market, likewise sell. And the lack of buyers has been really felt in the marketplace. I know I've felt it, and I've had to have difficult conversations with my clients. Mm-hmm. So what are the conversations that you're having?
Well, I wouldn't say we have a lack of buyers as much as we have a lack of buyers for 2022 prices. I think a lot of sellers still think we're in 2022. The demand is still there, but the demand for premium prices is not there anymore because we have so much supply. Our supply has exploded. And I know my office is in Siesta Key, and just to give you an example of how inventory has gone up. In 2022, we had less than 90 listings, and today we have 447 active listings.
And that's on Siesta Key?
Just on Siesta Key alone.
What's that percent? It's a big percentage.
It's like what, four times?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a lot more supply, a lot more choices. Sellers have to be more competitive. They have to realize that they have a lot more competition. I was showing houses on Casey Key the other day, and there's normally like less than 10 listings on Casey Key, but there's 25 right now, single family homes. So you'd think that in that price point, people are still buying. They want to be on the water. They want to be in a beautiful location, which is still the case, but they have a lot more choices. Mm-hmm. And people are being a little more careful before they make a decision.
And then to segment that out into the condos, right? Like there's so many factors that come into play, and each island is very different. So the condo market's been challenging for like with the rise of insurance and the HOAs. I'm seeing like $1,500 a month on average for condos. Mm-hmm. And then, sometimes when the buyers are looking at a condo like less than $400,000, that $1,500 has more weight, I feel like, because generally they're trying to find something less expensive to enter into the market. So it really hits them like a ton of bricks, like, wow, this is really expensive. And if they do want to rent it, it's hard to cash flow. Like back in the day, you could cash flow or break even. It's so much harder now with condos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, condos, you have a lot more fees involved, a lot more carrying costs. And HOAs is just one part of it. You got taxes and insurance, which eats into your profit margin if you're trying to use it as a rental property. And it's interesting, too, when you talk about HOA fees, because a majority of your HOA fee is insurance. And insurance has gone up significantly in the past few years, which has made HOAs go up as well. But insurance is starting to come down a little bit. I'm noticing, like insurance.
Ooh.
Yeah, the insurance costs have gone down, and I'm wondering if this is going to be reflected in the HOA fees.
Well,
If those are going to start to come down too.
like here's an example. I have one in Bay Oaks, and they just raised the fees 1,000 a month each unit for the foreseeable, well, through 2026, and that's going to help build up the reserves, do all the improvements. It's an older building, as you know, and maybe that'll go down. But like in selling a property like that, whether you're a buyer's agent or seller's listing agent, it's like you don't know. And I always go into it more conservatively, which I know you do too, and that in that listen, they might go down, they might not. I wouldn't buy it thinking they're going down. I would go into buying any property thinking the fees are just going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
We hope they'll go down, because we didn't have any storms last
Mm-hmm.
year, knock on wood.
Usually they go up, and
Just go
you
up.
have to assume that they're going to go up. And if they come down, that's great, but I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, I noticed my auto insurance went down too, like because that helped. I mean, all the insurance is impacted by the
Mm-hmm.
storms, like if cars got flooded and stuff. But anyway, back to kind of what you're seeing. So, are you selling more homes or condos generally right now?
Homes.
Really, single family.
Mm-hmm.
What are people so? What are people saying when they're debating between home and condo, or like are they staying away from condos on the islands right now, or?
I think the main apprehension is the fees. It's not just the HOA fees; it's the milestone inspection, and it's the special assessments and the unknowns and uncertainties of the future. God forbid we get another big storm where everybody's going to have to get hit with an assessment on, and that's the main apprehension that people have to condos is the fees.
So are
100%.
you pushing them into homes, or
I
how
don't
does that
push
look?
anybody in
No, I know
anything,
you don't.
but
No, that's not, you know what I mean?
no, I
Like,
mean,
are you having the conversation like,
yeah,
hey, based on your needs, why don't you consider home? Let's look at all the options. And then they just naturally go to homes,
yeah. When
or?
people tell me what they're looking for, it normally translates into you want a single family home. Unless they specifically want a condo because I don't want the maintenance.
Right. And that's a different thing. It's a
Yeah,
lifestyle
that's
thing. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
I had an open house at a listing of mine, and just you get all kinds of people. You used to have different conversations, and they happen to have a place on Longboat Key and wanting a property that cash flows. And it's like island condos, it's like an oxymoron. Even if you pay cash, can you cash flow? What do you tell people?
Well, I mean, not having a debt service cost is huge if you're trying
Right.
to cash flow. But it all boils down to vacancy rate.
Right.
If you can keep it low enough, you will. I wouldn't say you're 100% going to cash flow, but as long as you can
Right.
cover your expenses,
Yeah.
and you've got to find value in using it yourself.
Right.
If you live in Iowa and it's snowing 10 months out of the year,
Which we know it
it
does.
could, then there's got to be value for you in having a place on Longboat Key. Even if it's not cash flowing, you've got to understand that that's
Right.
part of where the value comes from.
And if you're just buying it to cash flow, I don't know about you, but I guess I'm partial because I have that little Airbnb in Southgate. No HOAs, no flood zone, no rules, although I stick to them 1 month minimum because you and I talk about this a lot. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
can't rent it weekly, people, unless you're in the city or unless
Mm-hmm.
you're in like the island of Venice, or like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Certain pocket areas like the Village.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's sexy to want to be on an island, right? You're like, oh, I want to be by the beach, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not sexy when you're trying to cash flow. And legitimately, if that's your ultimate goal, condos on the island might not be what you're really looking for in the end. That's why I say, like, how
Yeah.
do you tell people?
There are single family houses that you can rent by the night on, say, like Siesta, but it's got to be zoned for residential multifamily, which
Right.
the land has to be zoned RMF zoning in order to allow a short-term rental. That's where you can potentially get some cash flow, provided you don't have a huge debt service and you don't have
Yeah.
and your vacancy rate's low. That's
Yeah.
like I said, that's the main thing.
Yeah. Generally, when we're talking about vacancy, I don't know what you're seeing, but like the pro formas that we get, the estimated income is they generally kind of bake in like a 30% occupancy. Are you seeing more than that, or just to be more conservative?
I'd say 30%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one thing too about short-term rentals, a lot of them have been bought within the last few years, and a lot of sellers who own these properties they think that their carrying costs determine what the rental rate should be, but that's not the way it works. The market's going to determine what you can charge.
Right.
So the name of the game is to keep that vacancy rate low enough, keep the rate low enough so your vacancy rate's low enough. That's really what a lot of people are having a hard time with right now is.
Or lower it. Maybe they don't want to lower it to the point where you start getting the type of clientele that you don't want in there. I know I've done that. And I know at the point that I lower the price to where I'm starting to get like all these inquiries of things I don't want in my property. And like I can choose that as a manager. I'm managing it myself. I can just tell when someone's just gonna, I don't know, tear it up or like, they have more people there than it's really set up to have or whatever. But I guess getting off topic here. So where are your buyers like coming from? Like, is it still
Midwest.
A majority of Midwest? Yeah. Because they follow the line.
Yeah.
The traffic line, the interstate.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I'd say Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois.
Yeah.
Nebraska today.
Tried and true. So I'm sure you get this question a lot too, like the whole homestead tax thing. Do you think that'll happen? And if so, like how that will change the market here?
I don't think it's going to change the market here as much because if it does happen, it's going to be for only homesteaded properties, owner-occupant properties. They're still trying to figure out the language, and it still has to pass by 60%.
And they're voting this summer. Right.
They're voting in November.
Not till November.
Yeah, November. So it probably will pass in some capacity. I'm not sure exactly what the specifics are going to be on it, but it's not going to be for second homes and investment properties.
Yeah, and watch, like we might be wishing we didn't have it. If you have a second home, they might bump up those rates too to offset it, which was
they're going to get the money from somewhere.
Be good. Hopefully, they do it from the sale of goods instead of the secondary market, because that'll ding our market, which is a good.
Don't tax the tourists either, because we need the tourists for our economy.
True, but if they tax the sale of goods, then that would affect tourists. So I guess, I don't know, do you think the tariff situation will help with that?
I have no idea.
I have
no idea how that, but yeah, they're going to get the money. And believe me, Florida's got plenty of money. They got plenty of money. As you know, this state's been very well run since DeSantis took over. So
yeah. And then the whole topic of, what's going on in New York. I mean, I think people think that things happen quicker than they do. And I don't know if like I wouldn't say high interest rates, but higher than what they were, coupled with people that still have really low rates, doesn't mean that things are going to change overnight, right? I mean, Mamdani just got in, so it's just all new. So it's not like things just happen overnight. What if they have to sell a place up there that their value went way down too, Yeah,
I know. We're going to get some influx from New York City. And, as long as they don't feel like they're from New York City, I think we'll be good.
Say that. You're coming here.
Yeah.
Not because, because you enjoy our lifestyle.
We don't get to New York City on this side of the state.
This is true. So they usually go to Palm Beach. And I got a guy for you out in Palm Beach. So anything else? Did you have some stats about migration, though, specifically that you wanted to talk about?
We're down 93% in migration from 2022.
That's huge. That is a huge number. I mean, I feel like I'm feeling it. Do you feel like in your business you're feeling it?
Yeah. Well, think about this. Like, how many people were working from home during the whole post-COVID situation?
Too many.
So that when that happens, that's what one of the things that pushes prices up. Right. And when that stops, then you have to rely on the local economy here in order to sustain the prices, which we don't make enough money here. We don't have like big businesses here.
Right. Production of
it's all
product.
service-based. And
yeah. Well, we
healthcare.
still have sun. I think it's an average of 257 days a year. I think it's more than that. I don't know. It's around there.
It's a lot.
And no state
plus.
Income tax.
Right.
And if the homestead thing passes, meaning they would essentially waive you as a homeowner, your primary residence, waive your property taxes, that would be amazing. Come on, let's not lie.
It would be great.
It would be great.
Yeah.
Then you just have to still pay for insurance. And then insurance will just skyrocket more,
Mm-hmm.
to offset. And who knows?
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, people's escrows right now are more than a mortgage payment. Your taxes and
That's
insurance.
that. Do you watch Ricky Caruth? Do you ever
I
listen
know
to
who he
him?
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He talks about this stuff a lot. So does Michael Bordenero. He's got a YouTube channel.
yeah. I know who. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
him. Yeah, he's
I think
he's
you guys
good.
align very much in your mentalities, and I watch him too. I think he was the one that said escrows are actually a larger percentage now than your actual mortgage payment.
Mm-hmm.
I actually called, I have a small mortgage on my property, and I told them to take escrows out so I can manage my own money and
Mm-hmm.
pay the taxes and insurance separately.
Most people don't
Um,
do that.
I just feel like I want to manage that money and put that in the market where it can earn money instead
Mm-hmm.
of having you
You sound like my dad though. He
sit on
did
my
that.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he think it was a good
He just
move?
likes to be in control of everything.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the total balance of the escrow, and I was like, I'm my mortgage is only like $750. So I was like, let me take that what's sitting in there and just put that to use, and then when it comes time to pay the taxes and insurance, I'll just pay it.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a nominal amount, I guess, relative to some people's mortgages, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's an option if I think you have to owe less than every bank's different. I mean, you can't owe more than like
Yeah.
obviously 80%. So it's probably less than that.
Yeah. They want you to. So if they take it out as an escrow, they're going to guarantee get their money.
Right.
So.
And some people aren't good with saving, so I guess that might not be recommended for everybody.
Right. Right.
So, all right. Well, I hope you're going to have a great 2026. It feels a lot like 2025, doesn't it? Still like the start of 2025 to me.
Yeah. Last year was a little bit of a slow year for most of us. I'm noticing it's starting to pick up. The demand is still there. As long as a house is priced appropriately and it doesn't need any work done to it, it's still going to sell.
Do you list properties that you know are overpriced?
No,
Even by like
I will
if
not
you,
take a listing if the seller my job is to sell the house, not to get leads from a sign. If the seller is
yeah.
not going to be reasonable, I don't want to work with them.
You had this is a good example, I know, because it always comes back to price. I know we started talking about migration, but it always ends up on price. Didn't you have a listing on Siesta that you priced really well and it sold in
Mm-hmm.
like a week or something? Tell us about that really
So
quickly.
yeah, I had to listen. It needed a lot of work, and I told
Okay.
the seller it needed like complete gut job
Okay.
work. And I said you could either price it, with the comps and considering the amount of work, and all you're going to do is get lowball offers, or you can price it lower, and then you'll get more offers. So we
Mm-hmm.
priced it lower, and we got 4 offers on it, and we went over list price.
Boom.
But why
See,
don't more
and
sellers do that?
okay, that is such a great example that I'm just going to keep using over and over. And that sold in 2025, right?
Yeah, sold
It
in like 4
sold.
days
Oh, that is
with like
most
4
people can't.
offers.
So it sold for over, and they
Mm-hmm.
were, let me guess, thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
They
No,
were.
they're happy.
So what the numbers that you went over at the end? Now you can talk the numbers now. So
Mm-hmm.
what were they hoping for, and what did they get?
I'm trying to think of what we listed it for.
Wasn't it like 1.2 or something like that?
No, this is a condo or
Oh,
a
okay.
villa. It was a
Okay.
villa.
Well, it doesn't matter. The same concept applies. So
So it needed probably $150,000 to $200,000 worth of work done to it.
okay.
So it would have been a $600,000
Okay.
fixed up condo. So we priced it at I'm trying to think now. You got me.
Put you on the spot.
We priced
Well,
it.
what did they want it? What do you remember what they wanted? Like the ending price?
The seller?
Yeah.
They wanted they just told me to sell it.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't have a specific number
Okay.
involved.
So they're
in
looking to
mind.
you and they were happy.
Yeah.
So that's
we
all that
we
matters.
sold it for $15,000 over list price.
Okay.
But I think it was like $415,000.
That just like how many examples in 2025 are you aware of that it sold for over? That's the problem is
Never happens.
is most sellers, and I've talked ad nauseum on the channel here. If you guys watching the playlist, go through the playlist. That pricing, one of my videos was why overpricing in 2026 will absolutely backfire. And I gave 4 examples or 4 reasons why. And the psychology behind pricing it even $1 under, I know how hard that is for a seller, but you're also maintaining, you're paying taxes, you're having to pay the lawn guy, the pool guy, the HOA, whatever. And think about all that extra money that you've spent for 6 months and take it off the price and just move it if you're motivated. Some people aren't. So if someone's not motivated, you just not take the listing. If it's, yeah.
No, I just won't take it.
It's a smart move.
Yeah, my job is to sell a house, and I'm
wheels.
not going to, yeah, my time is valuable, and I'm not going to waste my time marketing an overpriced property, you know?
It's frustrating,
and
yeah.
they say, well, we could always come down. I'm like, yeah, well, you could come down, but why don't you just, you know?
I know.
And these
It's the
sellers
same
don't know, if
story.
you don't know anything on it too, all the more reason to just sell it,
Yeah.
move on with your life. But
take it from the
but
guy.
that's why we have our average days on market is over 90 days, and that shouldn't
Right.
be that high.
But in reality, that's pretty normal.
It is normal.
In a normal market is like 5 to 6 months, 90 days. And back in the day, and I say this a lot, $1 million plus, we always took a year-long listing. I mean, almost every listing I have is year-long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I know that's scary, but it doesn't mean that it's going to take a year. But some do, especially when you're priced high. Especially when you're priced high, and especially condos when there's a tremendous amount of opportunity and option for buyers.
Usually if a house has been on the market for over 90 days, there's been some price reductions. So why not just price it appropriately from the onslaught? Then you don't have to pay all the carrying costs.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What he said.
Yeah. So,
I mean, in an ideal world, we try to tell them, but most don't do that. Most sellers won't do that.
Yeah. The market's going to determine the value at the end of the day. You know, I just had a buyer pay full price on a property in Venice because the house was worth it was priced right. And I told the buyer,
how many days on the market was it?
It was like 1 day on the market. And I said, we need to jump on this because it's priced right.
Boom.
And we put the appraisal contingency in there to protect the buyer to make sure they weren't overpaying. But I'm not going to say, see, there's an example though. The house sold in 1 day. The seller's getting their money in 30 days. So
yeah.
That's
See,
it.
and then on the other hand too, like when you price it to get offers and a seller gets an offer and they get a little arrogant because, oh, you already got an offer in like less than a week. And it's like, okay, would you rather it take 6 to 9 months and then you spend all that extra money on taxes, insurance, maintenance, and all that? Or in looking back, it's like, as the time goes on, your offers will be less. That's just how things go in real estate.
The first week or 10 days is the most important week for the seller. If they don't have activity within the first few days, and there's something wrong with the price.
Agreed. He's the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Vlasic, Coldwell Banker. Well, I hope you have a great year. I know you work really hard when you're not fishing.
Yeah. The fishing is going to get better.
Yeah.
Hopefully the fishing will get better when the water warms up.
And how do people find you on social media? What do you go on more, Facebook or Instagram? Facebook?
Probably more on Facebook because I can actually put like an actual thoughtful post and people will read it.
Okay.
So you can check out my Facebook. I do have Instagram too.
Yeah.
It's Vlasic Ryan is my Instagram.
And how do you spell your last name so people know?
Just like the pickle jar says, Vlasic. Vlasic. VLASIC.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.